Digimon. You never seem to disappoint me with your amazing storytelling and sick monster designs. This series just has so much to offer. However, there is one Digimon series that's just never talked about, oftentimes even being considered the black sheep of the franchise. That's right, today's video is going to be about Appmon. Now, for those of you guys that don't know, back in 2016 there was a new season of Digimon, oftentimes overlooked due to, I would say, Try going on at the same time, and then immediately after both of those series concluded, we got Digimon Adventure 2020. But Appmon, that is personally my favorite season of the series, and I just want to dive into it with you guys. What is Appmon exactly? Well, that's what I'm here for. Hey everybody, it's Camtendo, and while most of you guys may know me for my Pokemon content, I do love other monster catching series, specifically Digimon. I'll always hold a special place in my heart for everything about Digimon. And I like to let you guys know, or at least show you how knowledgeable I am on the series by talking about my personal favorite series among the Digimon franchise. So today I'm going to break down and explain Digimon's most divisive series, Appmon, Appli Monsters. Now first, let's lay down some ground rules. Appmon is, of course, a Digimon series that is canonical to the Digimon series and in the franchise as a whole. But Nintendo, it's a spin-off, it's not canon. Oh, you. Let's make one very important thing clear here. There is no such thing as non-canon material in the Digimon franchise. That is kind of subjective, but let me explain myself. Digimon, like most long-running series, runs on a simple theory. That's right, good old multiverse. Everything from the video games, manga, and anime series are all considered canon Digimon material in an ever-expanding Digimon multiverse. Digimon has never been one to shy away from this, going as far back as literally 01 in the V-Tamers manga. There are two separate ties from two separate worlds, and they're both considered canon. And if I believe correctly, even the 2020 tie and the original tie, along with V-Tamer tie, are all separate ties from a different universe, as confusing as that sounds, and oftentimes even crossing over with each other as shown in one of the V-Tamer chapters. Now the Digimon multiverse acts like a spiderweb, with each point being a game, anime, season, or manga. Now that's kind of confusing, but I figured that was the best way to explain it. Now where does Appmon fit into this? Well, a common misconception is that Appmon are subspecies of Digimon, hence the different name, but that is very far from the truth. Appmon are a separate species altogether, but despite that are still considered Digimon in a sense. If you guys don't know, Digimon were born from the creation of computers and advancement in technology in the 1900s and reside in a digital world, while Appmon were born through the creation of smartphones and advancement of technology in the mid-2000s. Hence why Appmon takes place in the year or in around the 2040s, I believe, and they reside in the net ocean, a separate location from the digital world, which is why they are strictly separate and have rarely collided. That's why we haven't known about Appmon until recently. They're still considered a new species. Through many forms of media, we learned that there are various digital worlds that exist in servers, each server being governed by a host AI. The digital world that we primarily see are servers that are hosted by the program Yggdrasil and are protected by the Royal Knights, hence why they are the most recurring group that we see in terms of enemy factions. However, we know other servers like the Iliad server that's governed by the host computer Homeros, protected by the Olympus 12, my personal favorite group because let's face it, the Royal Knights are kinda overrated, but anyways, it's the same for Appmon. They reside in the net ocean and are governed by the host AI Minerva. The net ocean, by the way, is quite literally just the internet. These servers all have their barriers blocking them, often sometimes intertwining. Even Appmon and Digimon have met, with Agumon appearing in episode 45 of Appmon. Despite the two being separated, they seem to be closer than we think. The internet has been rarely explored as a concept in Digimon up until Appmon, but before that a lot of people just assumed that the digital world was literally just the internet. But no, Appmon reside in the internet. The net ocean is comprised of many islands that are essentially just websites with servers. There are many areas like Virus Island, Ryumon Island, and Shooting Star Island, just to name a few. Just like how the digital world is split into many zones and sub-areas, the net ocean is split into three major areas, that being the surface web, dark web, and the deep web. I said that out of order, but you know what I mean. Now, this is a very normal thing. Of course, us in the internet, we all, or I assume most of us, know about the dark web, the deep web, and the surface web, which there's the whole conspiracy theory that the deep web is used for like illegal trades, and that might be true. I don't know, I'm not really much of a conspiracy theorist, but anyways, the surface web is where most Appmon reside. The deep web is guarded by Dante's gate, which Dantemon is needed to be summoned in order to open the door. That's a Appmon lore video, separate for a different time. The deep web is the darkest part of the internet, where the host AI Leviathan lurks there. Who is Leviathan, you may ask? He is an evil AI that broke away from Minerva, and I don't mind going into more of Appmon's story in a separate video, so if you want more, make sure to like this video. That was rather a long explanation about Appmon, but we haven't even scratched the surface web of it. See what I did there? Anyways, let's talk about evolutions. Appmon, having a different, more advanced stream of code than Digimon, have separate ways to evolve. But to get a better understanding, let's go about what we know from Digimon. When it comes to Digivolution, we have its egg stages, baby stages, rookie, champion, ultimate, and mega, and occasionally a Jogress form. When a Digimon dies, it's reverted back to a Digi-Egg or Digitama for the hardcore fanboys out there, and of course a Digimon can resurrect itself and the egg hatches again under certain conditions. We're not going to get into that because different lore for different seasons, but for Appmon, it's a bit different. There are the standard grade, super grade, ultimate grade, and god grade, and only one Appmon that exists has no known grade or type, that being of course Dantemon itself. When an Appmon dies, it's reverted back to an Appmon chip, which is basically their version of a Digi-Egg. As long as their data resides in the chip, they can also resurrect, but I don't believe that there's any known case of any amnesia along with that. It just seems like once they die, they're reverted back to a chip and they can just resurrect. I could be wrong, please correct me in the comments. Now, for their evolutions. In order for an evolution to take place, Digimon need to app-link with the respective partner Digimon. Let's use Gachmon, the series mascot, for example. In order for Gachmon to reach its super stage, it will need an Appmon called Navimon in order to evolve into Dogachmon. However, shown in the anime, once an app-link has been done at least once, the primary Appmon is no longer needed for its link partner in order to reach this next stage, resembling that of normal Digivolution. So basically, app-links are like lesser Jogress forms, essentially, or a Digifusion that results in an evolution. That's a simple way of putting it. Basically, once Gachmon can link once with Navimon to become Dogachmon, it no longer needs to link with him in order to Digivolve or Appvolve, I assume, or I just believe it's just called evolution, but I digress. Appmon have separate types along from Digimon attributes, those being social, Navi, tool, system, game, entertainment, life. These are obviously based on app genres that you see in like things like the Play Store or Apple Store, things like that. And lastly, counterparts. Appmon and Digimon have several monsters within the two that look eerily similar to each other, almost borderline identical, that either being designs, names, or concepts and abilities. Of course, since Appmon are essentially derived from Digimon, they will have similar designs, however they may function differently, or some just may have different names but be very similar in terms of function. Let's dive into a few. Dopemon, Pipomon, and Gashamon all have a very similar appearance to the Digimon Datamon. Dogamon has a very similar appearance to Monotamon. Reshamon has a very similar appearance to the Locomon line. Suzakimon has a very similar function to that of Sukamon in terms of being a failed or joke evolution for those that raised their mons incorrectly. Warudumon has a very similar appearance to the Digimon Witchmon. Gomemon is quite literally Garbagemon, but in an Appmon variant. Watchmon and Compassmon both seem to have very distinct design inspirations from Clockmon. Cobmon has a very similar design to Guardmon, and Mirrormon has a very similar inspiration from Mercurymon. And of course we have Hackmon, who looks well like Hackmon. Appmon actually has a hacking function which plays a big part in the Appmon anime. Hackmon literally actually hacks, and I believe because of this, there's been this running theory, it could be true, but due to this, the Digimon variant of Hackmon's name was changed to Huckmon in its Japanese name, so they basically relocalized Digi-Hackmon to become Huckmon, which I've seen some people still call it Hackmon, but that's completely up to them. Huckmon or Hackmon, whatever you call it, if you grew up with it, I say call it what you know. Hackmon does sound way cooler, but if you were to ask me, I do prefer the app version over the normal version just because it looks cooler, it actually hacks, and it's kind of cuter. That's just me. And lastly, here is one that may shock a lot of people, but we have Gaiamon, who is Gachmon's final evolution, who shares a similar name with the mysterious Digimon Gaiamon, who is of course designless because if it existed, it would literally mean that somewhere along the line in the multiverse, Earth was quite literally destroyed. Again, I will talk about that in a separate video if you want me to, but that's it for Appmon lore. Appmon is a series that's very dear to me. It's so underrated and I wish people would talk more about it. This season is amazing and honestly I rank it up there with Tamers with being one of the best seasons of Digimon that's out there. That's a subjective opinion. You guys can argue in the comments about that, but I personally do love Appmon. Also, the artist for Appmon started a Twitter at the top of me writing the script for this video, so that's kind of cool. So I hope this video reaches him. That's kind of, you know, it's a pipe dream, but it's a dream nonetheless. Anyways, I'll link their account down below so you guys can check out their amazing art. But that's going to be it for the video. My name is Cam Tendo. Thank you so much for listening to me fanboy about Digimon or Appmon. And thank you guys so much for this video. I wanted to try something new on the channel. Again, thank you for the third or fourth time. And I will see you guys when I see you. Bye.